This is Kung Fu on Guangzhou, Plains of the Dragon.
It's funny how you mentioned the esports, because I'll segue into this because, in my opinion, when it comes to competitive gaming and esports, I don't think enough credit is given to the fighting game community and Street Fighter, who kind of laid the foundation for competitive gaming. If we're looking
Talk
at
about it.
if we're looking at competitive gaming, man, before Street Fighter 2, you had what? You had time attacks, you had high scores, going for world records in single player games, but you never had kind of that multiplayer aspect to competitive gaming until Street Fighter, I guess, came to the arcades and started doing that 1v1, me versus you, or my team versus your team kind of, tournament styles. And I think when it comes to this era, we have game fuel and gaming energy drinks and video games being you know what I'm saying, drinking your Mountain Dew game fuel to get you through the night to compete, train hard tonight so you can compete tomorrow or whatever for this convention, and having these big esports leagues at Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying, in these big conventions, and video games being treated more seriously, whether it be Madden tournaments on ESPN, that kid who won $1 million to win Fortnite, Halo, Call of Duty, all this shit, man. Like, I think not enough credit is given to the fighting game community and Street Fighter for making this even possible. Because you can tell me on this. Like, overseas, this wasn't a new thing. Overseas, they've been doing these things. They've been broadcasting fighting games on TV. You know what I'm saying? They've been have arcade tournaments publicized and advertised and advertised in local newspapers, man. Like seriously, like freaking Daigo Amaharo, Evo Moment 37. You know what I'm saying? Like, these kind of big events and these big fighting game moments are the foundation for how successful the esports league is right now and how the coverage is on that. So I just I just want to know what you guys think about how the fighting game community shaped the current professional esports league, and does it get enough credit? Should Evo be on the same level as those Fortnite players or those League of Legends players or the Smite players in these big, these big competitive gaming events?
So, if you don't mind, because I know you got a lot more knowledge than I do as it relates to some of this. Because you mentioned that you kind of were competitive on the scene. So I'm gonna just address it real quick, and then I'm gonna let you take center stage on this one, my guy.
Okay.
To answer that question, I think that it literally starts from the arcades. It starts from that one versus one experience of putting a quarter into a machine and trying to knock off the person that you're playing against. It starts from having a favorite character that you feel like you have a better understanding of how to control over other characters. It starts there, and I think it evolves deeper than that. On the surface, the fighting game circuit is still probably the top circuit in competitive gaming. I know you have your Call of Duties, I know you have your Fortnites, your PUBGs, all of these other type of games that kind of fit in there, but fighting games overall are the genesis of the competitive gaming circuit because that is where it started. It started in the arcades. You've never played a Call of Duty game at a local arcade. You've never played Fortnite at a local arcade. The closest thing that we got to a first-person shooter type joint that, from back in the day was like the Jurassic Park arcade cabinet or Time Crisis, but those were catered towards two-player co-op. That wasn't competing in a way to where you were trying to beat your opponent or trying to track down your opponent. There wouldn't be a Call of Duty circuit or a Madden circuit or NBA 2K circuit or a Fortnite circuit without internet gaming. Fighting game competitive, type of competition was there as soon as the arcade genre took off, as soon as fighting games took off, right?
Right.
We wouldn't have any of that. Like these dudes wouldn't be cashing checks and being able to live, comfortably off of video gaming if it wasn't for fighting game competitions. You know what I'm saying? Like point
Ooh.
blank, period.
Yeah,
None of that
man.
would even be possible if it didn't start out with pretty much playing King of the Hill at your local arcade on a Saturday.
Talk that talk, man. Oh, what you got, brother?
No, I mean to go off of what you're saying, man. Competition, well, gaming competition has always been been the main thing in the gaming entertainment world since the '80s. Because it doesn't just, I mean, yeah, there's some truth to fighting games, but gaming competition has been around since the '80s. With Pac-Man high scores and with playing Tetris, which is one of the biggest games that was out there during the time. Having Nintendo Championship competition, stuff like that. You had these champions, stuff like that before esports was a thing. You had circuits. You had you had places where this is like way back then where they had like little hallways with small little CRT TVs and a Nintendo connected to it, where you're playing Tetris or Pac-Man or wherever, playing competition-wise, stuff like that. And then when arcades was around and stuff like that, that's when you also had that. But in Japan, before it took off here in America, stuff like that, in Japan, man, it was a little bit more widely recognized because Street Fighter, it was almost like, while they had other competitions, I felt like Street Fighter was the one that got everybody really, really tuned in because everybody treated Street Fighter like Pokemon. They wanted to be the very best. They wanted to be the champion of the game,
Uh-huh.
So I do give it credit that fighting games did take things off further than what previous games has done. Like I said, like I mentioned, like Pac-Man or what Super Mario has also done, because there was competition for Super Mario, but it was, like I said, it was one of those things where it was a big city kind of thing. Like I've even seen history where they've had competitions for every new console that was out there. You had Sega competition. You had to collect so many rings from Sonic before you get into the game. It was almost like how if you guys remember Nickelodeon Max Arcade, where they had to reach that competition has been around since then, and you had to in the arcade they had to reach a goal at a certain time limit, or they had to collect so many rings or collect so many coins at a certain time limit, stuff like that. Nintendo did that, but another step further, where you had to collect 50 coins in Super Mario. Then after that, the game switches you over to another game where you have to do certain things in Zelda or do certain things in Kirby and stuff like that. It was like a remix of games that you had to know. But when it came to a fighting game, it was like our digital chess and stuff like that, man. When it came to Street Fighter, because everybody wanted to get with Street Fighter.
Oh shit! Say
That's
that
a
again.
haymaker.
Oh,
That's
man.
a haymaker.
Yeah,
Keep cooking, man. Shit.
because like everybody, like in Japan, everybody wanted to get good in Street Fighter, just like here in America, everybody wanted to get good in Street Fighter and stuff like that, man. So you're like, it was the battle of knowledge, man. Battle of the brains, man. What can you do? How do you learn your character? Everybody was in the magazines talking like, all right, how do I learn this? How do I learn that? Because as Street Fighter evolved with Street Fighter, the Street Fighter Turbo, the Super Street Fighter, there's new characters getting added and stuff like that, and things were getting balanced out and stuff like that. So now you've got secret characters. Everybody was head over heels over who the fuck was Akuma and stuff like that, But my my world was flipped because I'm coming out of Japan and adapting to how they do things here in America because of legal rights stuff and stuff like that. When people were talking about like M Bison, I was used to M Bison being a boxer. When you guys call bar law, you know.
Oh man, because in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, Vega was M Bison, correct?
Vega was M Bison and Barlog was Vega.
Vega.
Mhm. So you could always you can always leave it up to America to fuck things up because if they felt what's legal is and stuff like that. Because they even did the same thing with Mega Man. I grew up with Rockman. Y'all got Mega Man, so I was all right. Well, I fucks with Mega Man too. Then but that's the Street Fighter the mixes of the names and stuff like that. Where you guys call Akuma, I named him. His name is Goiki in Japan and stuff. So.
Okay.
So it's these little things, but I never really let that mess up, my connection to the game as for understanding its fighting mechanics, because even in the arcade when you beat the game, nobody really paid attention to the story. Like it just says thank you for playing Street Fighter, or in Capcom. We didn't really get any storyline related stuff until you had the home console version and you beat the game there, But even then, as a kid, not everybody else played every character to see every storyline, So
Right.
I felt like that like the here in the West Side, in America, stuff like that, our was when we had that the USA Network cartoon, and when we had the Street Fighter movie. Whereas in Japan they had the anime and stuff like that. But even then,
Hey,
bring
yo.
it back to what I was.